Now on the ongoing situation in Syria, the Senate Foreign Relations Committee voting to approve military action in a split vote. But does the committee's resolution actually restrict the president? Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Napolitano is here. That's the question here.
Can I answer that question?
Absolutely.
In a word, no. Under the Constitution, the Congress decides whom to attack. The Congress declares war. The president decides how to attack. The president, under the Constitution, can't attack whoever he wants. There's a federal statute that lets him do that. We can talk about the difference if you like. And the Congress can't micromanage the war. So when John McCain says, I like this resolution because it lets us level the playing field and bring about regime change, he's correct.
I thought, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but under the Supreme Court statutes that the president could indeed initiate a military strike. I thought that was the case,
yes,
which he could have done 2 weeks ago.
The War Powers Act, enacted in 1973 over President Nixon's veto. He vetoed it because he thought it restrained him rather than liberated him. Permits any American president post-73 to target anybody for any reason for 90 days without interference by the Congress. So President Obama could have done this. But that statute is unconstitutional. No court has said that. I'm making the argument that a court would find it unconstitutional because it is the Congress giving its war declaration powers to the president.
Well, can't you stretch, though, the words necessary and appropriate? And I say this in quotes, necessary and appropriate. Can't that give the president more power?
No. The phrase necessary and appropriate describes congressional authority in the Constitution and not presidential authority. Think about it. If Congress could let the president declare war, could the president let Congress appoint federal judges? Well, if that were to happen and keep going and going, the Constitution would mean nothing. That's why the Supreme Court has said, not looking at the War Powers Act, but looking at other trade-offs between Congress and the president, you cannot change the fundamental duties assigned by the Constitution without a constitutional amendment. Otherwise, the Constitution means nothing. But the War Powers Act is still good law. Barack Obama knows it's good law. He knows he doesn't
He's choosing not to use it, is what you're saying.
Correct, because he wants congressional cover for what would be a very unpopular use of the American military.
No, you're saying political cover.
Political cover.
That's what you really mean.
For a very unpopular use of the American military.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so there's U.S.-based law, but there's also international law.
International law gives us a couple of circumstances under which we can use military force. A country can use military force when it's been invaded, obviously. It can use military force when an invasion is imminent, obviously. It can use military force to come to the aid of an ally when the ally has been invaded. And here's the controversial one, Cheryl. It can use military force to enforce an international norm, like thou shalt not use chemical weapons, when authorized by the UN. None of those four circumstances applies with respect to Syria. We haven't been invaded by Syria. We're not about to be invaded by Syria. Syria has not been invaded by an enemy, and the UN has not authorized our intrusion.
Well, Hitler didn't try to invade the United States either, but there you go.
His allies did, the Japanese.
Oh, all right. Sir,
Anytime.
Judge,
Pleasure.
thank you very much. It's good to see you.
Why was Dennis so quiet during this interview?
This is
champing at the bit to talk about
Cheryl
this.
just rubbed me right out. Just elbowed me right out of the thing. You know?
Not like Dennis. You're right. Boy.
Thanks for
He's got his media minute, which is going to on fire today.
Yes, and you're between me and that, Judge, so get out of the way.
I'm out of the way. Thanks for having me. Does this show have a stage manager, a legitimate bona fide stage manager? And